Peace, y'all. The situation with Brother Polight, as disturbing, as egregious, as disgusting it is, unfortunately is not uncommon in spiritual communities. They just had an article that came out about Catholic priests being on Grindr. Grindr is basically an app where gay people hook up, right? Now, most of the time, Catholic priests are usually older. So you could imagine that they're not looking at older men when they're going on Grindr. 9 times out of 10, they're going after younger men. In the LGBTQ community, I know this firsthand. I dated someone who worked as a counselor in the LGBTQ community. A lot of the older men and the older women prey on teenagers and preteens. It just is part of the community. And you see a lot of this in the LGBTQ events, the gay pride parades, where there's children around and there's men that are naked pretty much and women that are naked or half naked. So there's a lot of pedophilia, and we know about the Dr. York situation, right? Dr. Malachi Z. York and things like that. We know about the situation with Zulu Nation, Hassan Campbell, right, and Africa Bambaataa involving pedophilia, and the list goes on and on and on. But pedophilia is not just a thing that is in the confines of spirituality or in the confines of the spiritual community. Pedophilia is everywhere. Pedophilia is everywhere. I myself, personal story, I lost my virginity to a woman that was older than me, way older. I was 16, she was in her 40s. She knew I was 16, okay? That's pedophilia. Although I didn't feel that way, and I honestly, I still don't. That's pedophilia, though. She took advantage of me as a youth. She knew that I didn't know what was going on, right? So she took advantage. Now, the real question about pedophilia is not really what's going on out there. It's not the pedophilia that's happening in these communities. It's not the pedophilia that's happening out in the world, right? It's not about what's going on outside of yourself. If you have children of your own and you're raising your children, do you talk to them or have you talked to them about sex? They could pull up porn on the smartphone, on the tablet, on the internet, even on the smart TV. Are you talking to them about sex? When they're over their uncles, when you leave them with the boyfriend, the girlfriend, when they're with the cousin, the auntie, the friend, the brother, the relative, the close family friend, are you asking them, has anybody touched you? Had anybody messed with your private parts? Has anyone told you to keep a secret about anything sexual that's happening? Do you ask them this every time you leave them somewhere? Are you moving too fast with people in relationships? I've been with women who have left me with their children within the first week of meeting me, or have attempted to leave me with their children within the first 2 weeks of meeting me. Girls and boys. These are facts. Times where I've had to say, no, I don't want to, no, I'm not going to, I don't feel comfortable picking up your child because you can't. No, I don't feel comfortable staying here with your child. No, I don't feel comfortable bathing your child, your little 3, 4, 5-year-old daughter, because you're busy. A lot of y'all put way too much trust in other people, in people that and you see this also with other things. I'm not going to get into the vax talk, but you see this with the vax too, where people are putting way too much trust in who they think has authority, or who they think has power, or who they think is highly spiritual, or who they think is very articulate, or who they think is charming, or who they think looks good, or who has a certain vibe. You can't trust these people with your children. So the reflection reflects back on you, the parent. It reflects back on you, the guardian. It's good to, it's not good actually, but it's easy to point the finger at Polight. It's easy to point the finger at these different communities. It's easy to point the finger at someone else. But when the reflection comes back to you and your family and your children, are you on them about these things? Do you talk to them about sex? Do you explain to them the birds and the bees in your own way so that they understand? And you have to talk about this sooner than later because it's all over the internet. As I said in my last video, Cardi B and Lizzo got penises and vaginas in the videos for you. Lil Nas X is out there twerking in jails in pink suits, right? Regardless of your sexuality, right, or your sexual preference, there's obviously a movement meant to sexualize children. There's no 18 plus restriction on Lizzo's video where there's penises and vaginas. Modern music is marketed to children that are between 13 and 27. That's the demographic. So you don't think that's a form of pedophilia as well? So get off some of your high horses, right? And there are countries in this world, and again, I'm not justifying this because a child's brain's not developed until they're after 25. I look at some children myself, and if I look at a woman that's sometimes 18, 19, I can see Bambi in her face. I can see the innocence in her face sometimes, right? Well, not sometimes. I can see the innocence usually, depending on what type of life they have, what type of things they went through, right? But you can see the innocence in a young girl's face, coming from a man's perspective. You can see the innocence in her soul. It takes a special type of predator that wants to take advantage of that. When you're around women with children, fellas, especially the girls, stay away from the girls. Kid come out, run out from the shower naked, you turn your face. You go in another room. You let the mother know that you ain't down with that and you're not comfortable seeing that. Some of you women be around your teenage sons naked all the time, thinking it's okay. Sexualizing children. You think they're not looking and exploring your body, even though you're their mother? Especially you fathers. You should definitely not be naked around children. That should be a no-no. And if your children do come and see you, you know what I'm saying? See you naked, you explain to them what this body part is and what it's doing, what it does. But you don't have to sexualize it. You could say this from a manner of education, a manner of teaching. But we have to stop acting like these things don't happen in our community. We have to stop acting like these things are rare, because they're not. They're not. There's a lot of sexual predators out here of all races, of all classes, of all creeds, and it is great that it is being exposed. But before you point the finger, again, are you talking to your own children? Do you grill them? I grill my children. They'll tell you. Both my daughters will tell you. Has anybody touched you? To the point where they're like, Dad, Dad, okay. Anybody touch your private parts? Anybody tell you not to tell me? Anybody touch you inappropriately? Anybody feel on you and you felt uncomfortable? I don't care whose house they went to. Uncle, aunt, grandma, this, that, and the third. Tell me. I want you to feel comfortable telling me. Have you educated them? Are you educating your children? Are you protecting your children? Stop leaving them with everybody, everywhere so quickly. Before you point the finger, and again, I've been in these situations with women who move too fast with their children around men. We got to get it together, and we got to get it in order. And this is serious. And it's great that it's being exposed. It's great that it's being exposed in a big light, in a big platform. I hope more and more people, more and more pedophiles continue to get exposed. But don't act like you're holier than thou and you ain't holding down your kids. Don't act like you holier than thou and you not making and you letting them sleep over with this person and that person. You're not really vetting the parents because you want to go turn up, or you want to go sleep with a woman, or you want to go sleep with a man, or you want to do this and you want to do that. Protect your children. Protect these children. Make sure that you leaving them with people that you trust, and even after you leave them with people you so-called trust, still ask them what happened when you pick them up from when you pick them up from wherever you left them. Still ask them if somebody touched them. I don't care who it is, what family member, what cousin, what auntie, what uncle, what brother, what sister. Make sure your kids are protected. Make sure the children are protected. That's what this is about. All races, all classes, all colors, all creeds. Because it happens in the church, it happens in the mosque, it happens in the temples, it happens in the spiritual communities, it happens in high schools. I've seen it in high school. Where older men will pick up younger girls, right? I've seen this. This is a perpetual cycle. And this is something that needs to be stopped, and it needs to be nipped in the bud, and shame needs to be brought upon it. And men that stand with other men that are sexual predators need to be called out on their shit. And men that see sexual predators operating in that manner need to check other men. It's time we just let a man be a man and turn a blind eye. No, we need men to step up. We need men to protect these children. We need men to protect these ideals. We need men. We need men. We need the fathers to check on their children and make sure they're okay. No matter how they feel about the mother. At least try to. And you mothers need to let your fathers in no matter what happened, what the situation is. And some of these fathers are crazy, but at least let them talk to the children. At least let them bond with their children. If you don't want to talk to them or you don't want to be around them, that's fine. But at least let them bond with their children. At least give them the opportunity to speak to their fathers. This is a serious situation and we need to treat it as such. And we need to stop acting like it's only isolated to the conscious community or to these churches, and not act like it's not people next door. Not act like it's not people in our families. Not act like it's not relatives. Not act like it could be the teachers or the school security guards or the counselors or the preacher that you're sending your child to counsel with. Grill your children. Ask them, is everything okay? Ask them if someone touched them. Ask them if someone hurt them. Oh, and last but not least, before I go, ladies, stop calling your daughters sexy. Stop saying she's sexy. Look how sexy she is. Right? Stop sexualizing your children. Okay? Stop saying your boys are sexy and your boys are going to get all the girls, right? Stop sexualizing your children. Let your children be children. Don't just look at the outside world and point the finger. Point the finger back at yourself. Peace, power, and prosperity.